Hello and welcome back to... Hello and welcome back to the GRYITH show, where things almost feel normal now. Our first segment is the news. Our first story is the new Huawei announced a new phone, and they are touting it as being even more powerful than the Nintendo Switch. They're calling it a gaming phone, has a little thing on the side that's very reminiscent of one of Nintendo's own Joy-Cons, and I've got to say, it does look impressive. It looks very big for a phone, or even a games tablet. But the main thing that struck me is the comparison to the Switch. You can't even compare most game consoles to the Switch. The Switch is a new beast. Sure, it'll be, even if it is more powerful than the Switch, which I don't doubt, I'm not saying they're lying, the Switch has been optimized in order to just play games, whereas the Huawei phone is going to be optimized to be just that, a phone first and a games device later. So I'm not sure how well exactly this is going to work out. Our second story is that it is Spooky Month, and this is our first official episode of Spooky Month here on the GRYITH show. Let me just get in a spooky spirit right now. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Are you feeling it? Because I'm feeling it now. Just now, before I'm recording this, the Red Dead Redemption 2 launch trailer was released, and I have got to say, it's alright. I mean, it's a trailer. It's just the same as the others. I don't know these characters. Well, you know, I know some of them. They're marketing it all wrong. I don't care about this story, or has it got to do one last heist. It kind of looks a bit boring, is what I'm trying to say here. I really hope it's not, and I will be playing it and possibly streaming it. I'm considering it. I know I'll be streaming Fallout 76 when that's released in November. I may even be streaming the beta because there is no NDA. I know that the stress tests for the network were done earlier on this week, which isn't a story, but you know, I'll talk about it. The stress tests were done earlier this week on the network for Xbox One, and people were breaking the non-disclosure agreement, and Bethesda had to really crack down on them. That's that. In honor of Spooky Month, let me just really get in the spooky spirit here. Check this out. We're in the spooky spirit now, boys. Our final thing for Spooky Month news, week one, kinda, is Super Mario Odyssey came out with a cute little costume. This is it. It's been a really slow news week, I'm gonna be honest. Nothing happened. Because I'm only allowed to report on things that I can comment on, otherwise what's the point? You'll see in previous episodes I report on things that I have no comment on, and they're some of the worst episodes of this show. Moving on to our next segment, What About? This is a big one for me. You'll notice for the past few weeks I've been talking non-stop about Starlink Battle for Atlas. And finally, the game is out, and what do I think? I'll get into it right now. You'll see right behind me, I have my Star Fox stuff from the game on its dock. That's right, the Nintendo Switch version of the game comes with exclusive Star Fox content, and this is honestly the best Star Fox game I've ever played. I haven't played all of them, but I've played little bits of a few of them. This is better than all of them. This is a Ubisoft game developed by Ubisoft Toronto, who usually just work on, I think they did Splinter Cell Blacklist by themselves, but other than that, they usually work on little bits of other Ubisoft titles like Far Cry, I think, things like that. This was made in the same engine as Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, which is why it was probably so swift to come to the Nintendo Switch. I mean, I think Nintendo approached them just a year ago at E3 in order to pitch the idea of putting Star Fox in the game. The game, honestly, it's pretty good. And I will admit I'm slightly biased because I was so hyped for this game before release. And I am a sucker for Toys to Life games, even though I don't have much life myself. This is all digital. Everything you're looking at right now. I mean, the lighting's not even that well done. What engine are you using to run? Starlink Battle for Atlas is a fun game, I'm gonna be honest. And it allows you to create your own ship. I was expecting it to feel a bit sort of putting all the different parts of the ships together to create one whole, but it really feels like you're creating your own ship from all these different parts with all these different weapons. And eventually you will find like a selection of ship wings and weapons that suits you. You can even put wings on wings, you can put wings on backwards, you can put weapons on backwards. It's good stuff, I'll say that, alright? The Starlink, the story of Starlink, it's nothing special, and in my opinion it's way too quick. All of the main campaign missions I finished them in it felt like 6 hours, but it was probably more like 12. That's one thing I will say about this game. You can really get lost in it. You know, you'll start playing for 5 minutes, it'll turn into 5 hours. It eats up your time, for real. Because of just all these systems they've gotten in. And people in reviews that I've seen have complained about the game being repetitive. I would agree, but I'd say that the stuff that you're repeating is fun. Going to planets, defeating primes, they have a hierarchy of enemies. There are towers, primes, and dreadnoughts, and then obviously at the bottom, below towers, the basic enemies. And the lower tier enemies feed the next thing on the tier, making it more powerful, which sort of makes you more inclined to go after the lower tier things in order to weaken the things up higher in the tiers, which is a great way of doing it. And I just loved zooming around planets, flying into clouds of dust and fighting these things, and the sound tracking for those segments with the towers, fantastic. And for the beasts too, I find the sound mixing in space can be a little wild and all over the place sometimes in space, but on the planets, consistently amazing. The planets are a bit samey, I found. They just feel like they've got different colors and that's it. There's plenty to find on each planet. A Ubisoft game, an open world one, plenty of collectibles of course, and those are fun to get. It's very satisfying, the gameplay. All the guns feel nice to fire, the ship feels good to fly. Generally, this isn't an amazing game, but it's really good, and I would recommend it. And an important thing is, you don't have to buy the toys. If you want to get it, but you don't want to have to buy the toys, and you don't want to have to buy a thing that comes with basic stuff and then you buy other stuff with more money, you can in fact, from the online stores, the digital editions of each game comes with just a bunch of the ships and weapons and stuff in digital form, so that you don't have to go out and buy the toys. And that's great. I think that's the fantastic way of doing it, and I would recommend it. But the thing is, this game is a very solid green for me. It's great. There are only two major criticisms I have with it. You know, it's very good. It's very polished. All the physics work very nicely. The voice acting is very nice. The cutscenes are well animated. Everything's well animated. The difficulty is very fair. The writing generally is pretty good. The only two major criticisms I'd have with the game is that the story it doesn't last long enough. It feels like it just wants to get over with itself. You don't have enough time to really form a bond with these characters, especially during some of the more emotional scenes where you really need to feel something for these characters, otherwise there's just no reason to care. The other thing holding it back from being more than a green star, the thing holding it back from being a solid gold star, is time. A game like this, a Toys to Life game especially, lives and dies on its post-launch content. Look at a game, look at any Toys to Life thing. Skylanders, right? Constantly releasing packs after launch that add more levels, that add more stuff, more characters. Lego Dimensions, perfect example. Constantly for years, up until it was ended, constantly releasing stuff, new stuff, that often didn't add enough, but did add something. And each character pack would add new levels and stuff. Great. The same with Disney Infinity. Each new pack added new stuff, and it was great, fantastic. This game needs to do the same. This game could truly be made great if over the next year they release maybe one, preferably two packs that add a pilot, a ship, a couple pilots, a ship, a few weapons. There are plenty of opportunities for types of weapons they could do. They could do a type of weapon that takes advantage of the fact you can flip weapons to be facing forward and backwards. One that perhaps some kind of heavy missile launcher that fires the missile outwards, but also shoots hot air backwards so that it damages things behind. But if you flip the weapon, it fires the rocket backwards and fires the air forwards. Just spitball, I came up with that on the spot. You could really take advantage of the ability to weapon flip in new weapons. But the thing they really need to add is new systems. Well, just new places to go, new things to find, new missions to play. Because I found the side missions in this game aren't great. They feel randomized, and I highly suspect that they are randomized, that they weren't made, that it's often just go and do this thing that already exists in the world. Except for the Star Fox stuff and the main story stuff. And I'd say the Star Fox stuff is a fantastic example of what they are capable of already at doing with add-on content, because they put in the Star Fox missions whole new areas, whole new ships, whole new all sorts of things, and it feels like a solid part of the game, but it does feel like an add-on pack. Nothing wrong with that, nothing wrong with that. As long as it's fun to play, there's nothing wrong with feeling like an add-on pack. I want to see more of that, except I want to see bigger. I want to, over the next year, maybe 2 years, see a couple of packs of the same scale as the Star Fox stuff. And then, at some point down the line, a major expansion that adds a few things, and this is the big one, a smaller new system, maybe 4 planets around a sun, a good 10 missions of a story for why you're there, what you're doing. Maybe it's got nothing to do with the Legion. Maybe there's a new enemy that they've got to take out in the system. You could make new systems. This game has a fantastic not procedural, persistent generation scheme where it persistently generates enemies and allies on every planet, no matter where you are in the system. If you leave a bad guy on the planet, they will keep going, and they will keep trying to take over that planet. And your allies will keep fighting, trying to stop the bad guys from taking over the planet. No matter where you are in the system, that stuff is still happening. It really helps to make the place feel alive. They could do similar but different things in other systems. Say there's an enemy parasite that's taking over things, and not only does it defeat your allies, but it takes them over. And maybe they could add a system where you can make your allies stronger, which obviously makes it makes your allies, for instance, you get allied ships with your armories. The armories defend planets while you're away, and in those armories out come ships which fight. They're similar to yours but a lot less powerful. Now in a new thing, they could make it so that you can power up those ships and customize them. Customize what the ships look like when they come out of the armories and what weapons they have, which would make it obviously more likely to fight the parasites or whatever the enemy is. But if they do fail, then you have to fight those super powerful guys that you've just made. There are so many possibilities for what they could do for add-on content, and a game like this, and a Toys to Life game, a game like this needs post-launch support. This game needs add-on content. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is having consistent add-on content added throughout the next year. They've said there's going to be free content and there's going to be paid content. It would be amazing if they could do something similar to Starlink. They need to. That's what will change this game from a green star to a gold star. If in a few years I look back, because this is a monetary investment, right? This, £70. These ships, £25 each, right? I have spent money on this, and it will only feel like a worthy monetary investment if in a few years I can look back at this game and think that was worth my money. This was a worthy monetary investment because they kept adding things. I wouldn't even mind buying more things as long as it felt worth it. They really, really need to do this, and I am worried that they're going to leave the game as it is, and they're going to say, we did a good job, guys, and then never touch the series again. But they can't rest on that. They can't stop there, because that's what will change this game from just something that happened in 2018 to something that will be remembered on the same level as Skylanders, right? Because this is the best Toys to Life concept I have ever played and ever seen. And I think it has real potential, but they need to, I'm just a broken record at this point. I just really want to stress how important that is for this game. Moving on to our next segment. They want to believe. This week, we're looking at...
Hey, take a look down here. Yes. Take a good long look.
That's not... I don't want to look at that.
Well, too bad, bitch boy. You're in here with me now.
Okay.
Come on, take a look.
What are you?
I serve the Daira. You know the one.
That's very straightforward, I guess. But what is your purpose?
Look, I'm just here to make sure everyone's having a good time, okay? Nothing needs to go awry.
I'm confused.
What did you expect? Just pronouns? I serve him. No, I'm straight to the point. Right as my master is. Okay? Well, for the most part, anyway.
Can I do something with you? Can I just get rid of you?
I'd really rather you didn't. Look, I've been here since before you were even in this simulation, honestly. I just wanted to introduce myself. Goodbye for now.
Goodbye, I guess. Moving on to our final segment. I suppose. I forgot what I was going to talk about this week. Our final segment of the week is Cryptid of the Week. And this week's another special case. And it has something to do with my shirt. The art on it is done by Trevor Henderson, or Slimy Swamp Ghost, as his online handle is. And I wanted to talk about some of his cryptids. He's got plenty. This weird pig guy, these other things. But two of his most popular ones are Long Horse and Siren Head. Great names, even greater cryptids. Let's take a look at them. I'll put images on the screen in front of all my collection here. And I'll read out what they say. Siren Head. Around 40 feet tall. about the size of a telephone pole. Skin looks like rusty metal, but is actually dried and mummified skin. Arms are as long as the length of the body, big reach, like a gibbon. Has been seen with different head arrangements, though it's unclear if those are subspecies or if it's able to change its head when hunting. It's a highly skilled predator, using deception and subterfuge to confuse and disorient its prey. It is unclear if or how it gains nourishment from the things it kills. Speakers constantly pump out strange music, odd snippets of conversation, and angrily shouted words and numbers. When it's asleep, it plays white noise. Speakers are the only actual metal on its body, fused with its dried skin. Abdomen and chest show wires pressed against the skin. They writhe when it's agitated. Will remain motionless while hunting, sometimes for days at a time. Most frequently seen in rural town areas and in heavily wooded areas. Head will rotate on its neck as it broadcasts, much like an owl looking for prey. Siren Head's really interesting, and I think I just like this image of tall thing with grossly long arms with the siren head. There's been tall guys with long arms around for a while. Slenderman, SCP-096. But there's just the USP of this one, the siren head, I think really elevates this one above those two. And I really enjoy it, and I love seeing the images. Everything on all of Trevor Henderson's images, I love seeing. They're amazing. I'm just gushing about Trevor Henderson this section. You can skip to the end. No, don't skip to the end. You need to know. You need to know. Our second cryptid is Longhorse. I'll put it up here. Curious nature. Portions of neck don't have to connect in linear space. Its neck is infinite for all observing it. Neck will always terminate out of view of observers. Means well. Skin is like wax, pliable. Its neck bends like a finger, and it can make new joints at will. Deathly quiet, except for a faint cracking when it bends its joints. Non-hostile, though its appearance often precedes disasters or misfortune. Smells like cinnamon. Those are our two cryptids. Please check out Trevor Henderson, and there's so many things on Twitter. This spooky month, convert your Twitter into a spooky tapestry of crazy art, because these horror artists are so talented, and I really, really want them to be seen by more people. That's all for the GRYITH show this week. I'll see you for the second/third week of spooky month next week. I am not sure how glad I am about the changes they've made in the recent update. I assume the update is why things were so simplistic last week. Don't know what to do about that thing, and I'm no longer looking into a void behind the camera. I suppose that should give me some comfort, but I don't know why it doesn't. Goodbye.
Wait. There's a special spooky outro for Spooky Month, and it includes Siren Head.